Hey there, guys. Welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick live show, late night edition. This is it. Don't get scared now. Thanks for joining me, guys, once again. And this has been a weird week. Last time I saw you, we were celebrating the coming of my birthday. That sounded weird. I put that in a really weird way. We were celebrating my birthday, and I thank you all for being there. And I thank you guys for bringing the cake and the balloons. It was a great party, nevertheless. And then I instantaneously after that came down with a case of the COVID. And for the last week, I felt like shit. And then, like, slowly but surely, I saw some light at the end of the tunnel. And then today I felt pretty good. And then I mowed my grass. I got a little bit energetic. Unfortunately, I can't taste or smell anything right now. But in a weird way, I feel like that gives me freedom. Freedom I've never really had before. Because I could just eat anything and it all tastes the same. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but with all that said, let me crack open this caffeinated Monster energy drink here because I want to talk about some of the first reactions to the brand new The Flash movie, which hasn't quite come out for the rest of us right now, but over in Las Vegas, there was the whatever cinema festival thingy-majigger going on. You could get invited to it, or you could pay like $1,200 for a ticket to go. But the coolest thing they had was they actually showed a screening for the new Flash movie. And I have spoken to a few people who I trust their opinions. And we're going to dive into it. We're also going to talk about some of the first reactions and some of the opinions put out on the internet. Some of them seem a little bit fake and artificial, to say the least, but I want you guys to chime in. I want you guys to tell me what you think about the upcoming Flash movie. Do you guys do you have hope for it? Because me, I do. Like, when it comes to all the Warner Brothers movies, or DC movies, sorry, you know, it's been hate. It's been a hate-love relationship over the years. Mostly a lot of hate. Some of them I enjoyed. But with this film, I don't have the expectation that this is going to be the next Dark Knight. Okay, I'm not putting it on some pedestal of that caliber. No. I just wanted to be entertained, and I most importantly did not want them to waste Michael Keaton returning as Batman. Because I want to get nuts. Do you guys want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. All right, so here it goes. And we're going to dive into all the super chats and questions. And this is just the main topic I want to talk about. And after this, we're going to dive into a whole bunch of other weird stuff, I assure you. I got some new Blu-ray 4K movies in here. We got some crazy stuff down there on the floor. I will show it to you momentarily. But first, let's just dive into the first reactions of the Flash movie. And if you cruise over, I found one long article with everyone in it. It has Joe Blow, it has Scott Mance, and a lot of people are basically saying the new Flash movie, it's okay. It's pretty good. There's a few people that say it's a very generic mess, and it's the same thing that DC has done over and over again. And keep in mind, this new film is from the writer of such classics as Harley Quinn and the Emancipation, or whatever proclamation of bullshit title that had, which was an atrocious abomination movie, terribly written. Oh, Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. That's what it was called. That's right. Also, it's from the same writer who I guess wrote the Batgirl movie, which never came out, which these aren't good things, right? But some of the first reactions say it's very, there's a lot of fan-pleasing moments. It's actually a surprise for DC. Maybe DC should have went this direction. Unfortunately, everything is sort of being reset at this point. Most of the complaints come to the third act of the film, where it just becomes that big CGI mess, an abomination of CG, where anything that can happen will happen, and it gets a little bit bogged down. Also, one of the other nitpicks are some of the expositional scenes in the film. It just gets a little expositional heavy. And I guess the first act is phenomenal and really entertaining and a crowd pleaser. And everything else from everyone I've talked to and everything I've read, Michael Keaton is one of the best things about the movie, which makes me happy. Let's see. Now, someone told me earlier something about the film, and I don't know if I want to mention it. It's just a really cool sequence that I think if you're a Flash fan, it'll make both of your bat nips hard. Both of them will start tingling, and you'll be like, oh, they did that. They actually did that. That's what they said. They gave me some more details on it, but I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys today. But the overall topic of this video was, it's surprising that the Flash movie is good. And I'm happy that it's good because I want a good summertime blockbuster movie that happens to have Batman in it. And then Flash is there too. You know, they could have just called this Michael Keaton Returns as Batman and the Flash is there too. And I would have been happy. That's what they should have called the movie. And the new trailer made it look like that, didn't it? It was like, oh, this is a Batman movie. And look, Flash is kind of doing stuff in the background too. Now, one of the other gripes I'm getting from some of these people is the CG. Looks a little CG-ish. I mean, and how else could it look? Now, I think it's, for me, when it comes to CG in movies, it's how you mask it and where you put your characters and what you do with them. And I think the majority of the trailer shots, keep in mind, I haven't seen the movie yet, but some of the trailer shots, I think it's because they put most of their big action sequences that looks like a military base in the middle of nowhere with big blue skies. And whenever you have Batman during the day, it just looks weird to me. And when he's flying around with a blue sky in the background, it just looks off to me. I don't know why, just I don't like it. Maybe that's why it looks a little bit off to me. I mean, it does look like they're all standing in front of a green screen the majority of the movie, but I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, guys, have you... Come on, chat, hurry up. Yeah, someone says the screening that everyone got to see was an unfinished cut. It might be slightly unfinished, I guess. I mean, the movie does come out in just over a month. I would imagine it's pretty damn near locked in and good to go. I'm not sure what was rough about it. I didn't hear the details on that. Maybe there's a few effects not quite finished yet. That could be a possibility. Maybe there's a scene or two that they're going to take out. Couldn't tell you. The plot leaks are real. Yes, I heard some of the plot leaks are real. So if you want to avoid spoilers, avoid the plot leaks on Reddit. Someone said Birds of Prey was awesome. Max Neugenbauer said Birds of Prey was awesome. Well, Max, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I thought it was an atrocious pile of flaming shit. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. I mean, it could have been awesome, right? It just wasn't. All right. So yeah, those are my quick thoughts on it. I don't want to dive too much into spoilers and everyone's little breakdowns of the movie. Some people say it's nostalgic and hilarious with tons of heart and 2 outstanding performances by Ezra Miller. That almost sounds like it was bought and paid for. Doesn't it just sound a little like corporately typed out and ready to go with a check in the mail? But then again, you know, if DC wants to pay me some cash, I'll say something good about it every once in a while. It'll be slightly disingenuous, but I'll say it. The Flash is very good. If that's the last we see of Keaton and Affleck's Batman, they went out on a high. Well, good. So yeah, I'm hearing good things about this movie, but then again, let's keep this in mind, guys. This is the most important thing I wanted to talk about today when it comes to these reactions is we have been beaten down in the dirt so low for so long when it comes to our superhero comic book films that expectations shouldn't be high. How could they be high? What was the last great comic book movie that you watched? Tell me. I mean, I'm sure somebody will say the Batman. I'm sure one of you guys will say Morbius for some odd reason. I don't know. But really, it's been a while. And I think if we get anything that's slightly entertaining and competently put together that gives us that fan service that we all rightfully deserve and need, then I think it's going to be a success. And even if it follows some of the same tropes and cliches and has some lackluster CG, I don't give a shit. I just want to see Michael Keaton as Batman once again and the Flash doing some stuff. Maybe he slightly redeems himself for his crimes against humanity. I'm not talking about the Flash, I'm talking about Ezra Miller. But it makes you question the future of DC going forward. Because if this film is a complete and absolute success and people go and watch it and they go, oh, okay, Ezra Miller's good as Flash. Maybe I forgive him for what he's done and we'll overlook it going in the future. Or maybe he's too much of a wild card for DC to put faith into at this point. I'm interested to see what they do with Ezra Miller going forward. I would say this is probably, from everything I've gathered, the last hurrah for Ezra Miller as Flash, and the great reset is happening. That's just my theory and speculation on all this. I wouldn't put faith in Ezra Miller, no matter if this movie made $8 billion. I would be like, yeah, we got to recast that shit. Sorry. So anyway, guys, those are just my quick thoughts about the first reactions coming out about the Flash movie. I am jealous of everyone who got to see it early. So jealous. I wish I had $1,000 to go to Las Vegas and watch the movie, but unfortunately, I did not because I'm poor. And I had COVID. So either way, yeah, chime in, guys. I want to know what you guys thought. Oh, Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we did get that movie like a while ago. Yeah, that was a good comic book movie. Expectations shouldn't be high. Show me the money. I just want a really good story for the Flash movie. I've heard it's okay. I've heard it gets a little messy and sloppy, but I've heard overall it's entertaining. How can he be redeemed over a movie? He can't. It was a joke. The next one, all right. The next one comes from Kung Fu Hot Dog, who says, "Greetings, Big Bad John. Bat Flash is DC's No Way Home." That's what I'm going to start calling it, Bat Flash. That is a better title, a more accurate title. Wow, did you guys hear that British voice? I didn't think that ever worked, but then it just popped on. I call him Mr. Belvedere. And when I'm not utilizing him for my live streams to read his robot Alfred voice, I keep him in a pickle jar in my basement. What am I talking about? I'm not quite sure. But let's get back to Kung Fu Hot Dog's question real quick, and we'll dive into that other question. Not a fan of Supergirl's look. Neither am I. I don't like the haircut or the suit. It just looks too trendy to me. Who's the third Ezra Miller? Couldn't tell you. John Campea loved it. Surprise. Everyone says it's Miller's last time as the Flash. Love you, John. The GOAT. Yeah, I would assume it's his last time, seeing how he's a liability at this point and a threat against humanity. But yeah, I'm looking for. I want it to be. I'm hoping it's good. I have faith in some of the people who've watched. I have faith in the one person who I talked to on the phone. They said it was good. But so yeah, just some quick thoughts on the movie. It's just nice to know that it could be entertaining, and I'm happy about that. Everyone thinks you missed my chats. I haven't gotten to them. I'm going to get to all the chats. Trust me, we're jumping around a lot right now. I got them all lined up, ready to go. Don't get scared. They're all right here. Here we go, baby. I didn't miss a thing. T600 Tiny Todd says, "You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts." We're getting nuts right now, T600 Tiny Todd. Louis Berry says, "Warner Brothers have 7 months and the money reshoot Mara's scenes in Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom with Deborah Ann Wool." I thought they should have got, what's her name from Game of Thrones, who even looks better and has a past with Khal Drogo himself. So yeah, at this point, I don't think it matters. I mean, if Ezra Miller can choke people and Amber Heard can accuse her husband of beating her, I mean, you can do anything you want if you're in a comic book movie, and they'll still pump that shit out because it just simply costs too much and takes too much time and effort to go back and replace them and do it right. I mean, they pretty much just hope that no one cares by the time the movie comes out. And the truth is, a small demographic of people do care, but they still go see the movie anyway, so what does it really matter? I mean, everything in DC right now is eventually just going to be deleted and erased, and we're going to start over anyway. So I think that's where they're at with that. So if it were me and I was DC, I probably would reshoot some of those sequences with Amber Heard, yes, or write her character out in some way. She just instantly dies in the first 7 seconds of the movie. There's that. Night King 01 says, "John, if only I cared about The Flash. By the way, may not be popular, but I watched Attack of the Clones yesterday. I never had a problem with it. It's okay." Well, I'm glad that you shared those deep insights, man. And I don't think I've ever really hated it either. Well, that's not true. I have. Yeah, I don't really care. To be honest, I don't care about. I'm not a big fan of The Flash. Never have been. Probably, definitely, never will be. But it doesn't mean that I don't want to see the character done well and see a good movie. Like I said for the 87th time, The fact that Keaton is back as Batman, baby, that's what gets me going. Lewis Berry says, hope they keep Henry Cavill's Supes and Momoa's Aquaman cameos. Hopefully, Pfeiffer's Catwoman, Cage's Supes, and Wilson Berthel as Reverse Flash. I've heard a lot of cameos. I will neither confirm nor deny them, and we'll just leave it there. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Birds of Prey was boring. Oh yeah, it was pretty bad. Pretty fucking bad. Carter Lovejoy says, who should play Flash in James Gunn's DCU? I don't know. I have not put any thought into who would be a good Flash. And I don't really do that late at night. I don't close my eyes and go, who would be a good Flash? No, what I do is I sit there and I lay naked and I think about who would be a good Batman. And when I come to the answer, I pop up out of bed, do a cartwheel, and then I go back to bed. Yeah, I don't know who would make a good Flash. I'm sure there's some young 20-something actor who would fit the part. The next one comes from Lewis Berry. Warner Brothers should remove Heard after what happened to Depp. Yeah, a little too late for that, isn't it, though? I mean, I don't think she'll get another acting gig in Hollywood, and thus she will face the consequences of her actions, which they should be extreme, but like I said, it doesn't seem like DC really... It seems like DC's very forgiving of their actors and their movies sometimes for the things they do. The next one comes from... Sorry, guys. I'm all over the place. Like I said, I'm recovering from the COVID, and I felt like shit for about a week. And this is the second time I've had COVID. Now, the first time, someone asked me about it here. The first time I had it, it was like death. I had a fever for 11 days. All I could do is lay in my bed and sweat. It felt like my brain was boiling out of my ears. And this time, it just sort of felt like a bad cold. Like, it was, like, doable. Like, I could function and live and, like, get up. I had, like, a headache and a stuffy nose. And, like, the first 2 days, I just slept for, I think, 22 hours a day. But after that, it just was, like, right now, I feel, like, just a little tired and maybe a little stuffy. I sound a little bit like Nicolas Cage right now. Talking about the Flash movie. Let's get nuts. You want to get nuts? But I'll be okay. I'll live. What doesn't kill you makes you stranger. All right, the next one comes from Pokemon Lover. Do you like Pokemon? I saw Beau is Afraid in theaters with my girlfriend last weekend, and it was one of the most unique theater experiences I've ever had. Great dark comedy ride that has me laughing my ass off and wondering where the hell the movie was going to take me next. I've heard mixed things on that film. I do want to see it. Joaquin Phoenix, man, give it to me now, but I haven't seen it, haven't gotten a chance. Like I said, I was sick, and I didn't feel good until about a day ago. I did, however, check out Evil Dead Rise. And I do want to talk about that momentarily as before we dive into more questions. And thank you guys so much for the questions. I will get to every single one of them in absolute detail in just a few seconds here. And thanks to all 240 of you watching right now. And what I'd like you guys all to do, because YouTube sucks balls, is if you could click that little stupid bell notification and give the video a like, that would help immensely, because that way you guys can join me every time I'm live, and YouTube won't hijack the YouTube algorithm, because YouTube thinks they know what you want to watch. They think they know you as a person. But let me tell you something. YouTube's just a corporate, faceless entity. It doesn't care about you like I do. So if you want to join me every week talking about movies, click that stupid fucking bell notification right now and give this shit a like, baby, and let's get going. If you want to. You don't have to. I'm just saying. If you want to, I would appreciate it. And it will instantly make you feel better about who you are and what you're doing in life. But yeah, let's talk about Evil Dead Rise, because you guys are killing it in the super chats here, and I'm going to try to get to all of them. I saw something funny right there. I'll get to in a minute. So overall, I enjoyed it. Now, my biggest complaint and one observation I had, and maybe I'm weird, but I feel like it's because I have these observations that gives me I don't know, maybe a unique opinion every once in a while. And I'm very sensitive to people's accents and tones and twang. Like my ear is very sensitive to weird things like that. So when I was watching Evil Dead Rise, I was a bit confused that this movie was taking place in Los Angeles because I literally thought this was an apartment complex full of people from Australia. And I was like, so is this in like Australia or New Zealand? Like where is this does like take place in America, right? Because everyone has a weird ass Australian accent that they're trying to hide and sound like an American, but every other word that they say has a weird Australian twangy colonial New Zealand accent thing going on. Like, for example, when they said the name Danny, they go, Danny, Danny, hey, Danny. And it was like, okay, maybe someone should have been on set to help them, guide them with their accents. If they're trying to do an American accent, like it shouldn't have everything a high pitch at the end. Like it sounded really off to me. Now that didn't ruin the movie. It's simply an observation. And if anything, it kind of added like a weird, unique flair to it. But yeah, the acting was good. Just the accents were off. That's all I'm saying. One other thing I guess I could say about the film was, and I guess it's 2023. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this or if I'm supposed to pretend like I didn't notice it or something. The main teenage boy in the movie was played by a transgender person, and I'm not trying to get political. I'm not. It's just an observation because when I was watching the movie, I was like, wait, what's going on with this kid? Like, he's 16, he's driving. I thought he was like 12 years old, and then he's like 16 or 17. And I was just like trying to add up in my head what's going on. I was like, oh, is that a transgender actor? And I, did my research after the movie, and yes, it was. So I thought that was interesting. And I actually liked the character. I thought it was a good portrayal of like a teenage boy. Though I will say this about that character. For some odd reason, the teenage boy sort of reminded me of Bart Simpson from The Simpsons. I know that's a weird fucking thing to say, and I don't think anyone else on the planet would say that except for me, but it reminded me of like live action Bart Simpson. Just like this teenage boy who just keeps getting into shit and he keeps doing all the wrong things just to push the limits. And then he wants to be like some DJ fucking person or something. I don't know. It was, but the spectacle and the gore and the guts, and once everything started getting kooky by the second and third act, I thought it was very well done, very suspenseful, and I like the surrealism of Evil Dead. I like how it can sort of take this gory, bloody tone of violence, but it doesn't feel realistic in the sense where you're kind of like, it's too much. The surrealism of it kind of blends it all together and makes it fun, gory, bloody violence. You're like, oh, I can have fun with this because it doesn't feel grounded whatsoever. And I like that about it. But yeah, it's a pretty well-made, competent movie. And from everything I know about it, originally it was supposed to be an HBO Max movie, direct to HBO Max. And I think they looked at it and said, oh, this is too good. Let's put it in theaters. And it definitely deserves to be in theaters. So, go check it out. I don't think it's a must-watch. I don't think it's going to go down as the horror film classic for me, like I watch every year. But I could definitely occasionally watch this around like the Halloween time. So what'd you guys think of Evil Dead Rise? I like that it took place in an apartment building. I thought that was kind of cool, something different. It wasn't like a cabin in the woods. And the main actress who played the mother, I thought was the best performance in the entire movie. So 3C Film says, you sound like me when I was talking about the blackening on the trans kid. Laugh out loud. Man, I don't know. Like, I listen, I'm just trying to get it right the first time here. It was just an observation, I'll be honest. If the performance of the trans actor sucked, I would say it. I really would. But I actually liked the character. You know, the character of the trans person in this movie. It reminded me of something like out of like the movie Chappie. You remember the people in the movie Chappie with the like the blonde, weird, like South African trashy people that have like weird mullets and they just do weird shit. That's what it kind of reminded me of. Like slightly. I don't know. Are you guys still with me on this? I don't. So let's go to the next one. Like I said, I've been on a lot of drugs lately with COVID, and so yeah, I'm hopped up on cough medicine right now. Let's just go to the next question here because I think we're falling way behind. Give me a minute here, guys. I'm trying to catch up with you. What's unique there? Oh, here we go. Sorry, trying to catch up on the questions. Don't want to miss anyone. Louis Berry says Timothée Chalamet should play Barry Allen. I think he's been like handpicked for every actor that's 20 something, like every character that's in their 20 somethings. I could see that. I haven't really seen his charisma or his charm. And maybe we'll get that in the Wonka movie coming out, but I could see it. But the question is, would he want to do that? Like, does he want to play Barry Allen? I don't know. Dustin Rich says, I heard Lights Camera Jackson is in the Flash after credit scene and Batman lights him on fire with his Batmobile. That would be fun. Kind of like in Batman Returns. Remember how many people Batman killed in the opening scene of Batman Returns? I counted like 4 dead motherfuckers in that scene alone. Joseph Knowles says, do you like the paint can / pipe scene in Home Alone 2? That's 3. That's 4. It makes me laugh every time. I miss when kids' movies were violent. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Even kids' animated movies could do things and say things that were a little slightly violent. Like, you know, for example, I was watching Spider-Man. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man the other day, and he's like, Spider-Man, when he's the human spider, when he's fighting Bonesaw, he's like, oh, that's a nice outfit. Did your husband make it for you? And I was like, that would never be in a movie nowadays. 3 minutes of playtime. Bonesaw. All right, the next one comes from Night King 01. Sorry for the random Star Wars stuff. I went down a rabbit hole, and the amount of stuff made up about Lucas is nuts. Unfair, man. Sequels are false. I mean, I don't know. George Lucas, I like me some Lucas, but at the same time, he's his own worst enemy, is he not? The next one comes from Alejandro. Have you seen a movie in Screen X at Regal? When the screen wraps around you. I'm debating watching The Batman again on Saturday for $3. Let me know if it's worth it, John, and hope you're doing well. Well, okay. So, fun story. I actually did see Birds of Prey in Screen X. Now, I will say, I could see how some movies could be interesting to watch in this format. And I think, depending on how well they're done and crafted with the Screen X technology to enhance them, there's things they could do, right? To make it very immersive. Now, for me, a lot of the scenes that they showed in the Screen X were just very sloppily generic, like CGI extensions of certain scenes. And like, for example, there was like a car chase scene, and on each side of you, it was just like generic CG buildings flying by. And like, I get how some people, like, you could get immersed into that. And maybe if it was like a 3D movie, it might help to some degree. But my personal opinion is I prefer not to do it. But go check it out. If it's an old movie and they added Screen X to it, I keep wanting to say Kleenex. But if they added Screen X to it, go check it out. See what it's all about. You know, I've only seen one movie in Screen X, so have at it, man. It could be a good time. My biggest problem with it really is it's too bright in the theater. Because not only do you have one screen in front of you like you usually would, now you have two more on each side. You have one over here, one over here. So the brightness in the auditorium itself is 3 times brighter. And it's just almost too bright. Like you're just like, ooh, I can see everyone in here. It's disgusting. So, but check it out. Report back to me. Let me know, man. All right, we got Seth Hall in here who asked a question earlier. I think the robot read it. But Seth, here it goes, man. And thanks for the very generous super chat. Mando Season 3 was such a letdown. Moff Gideon is basically Dr. Robotnik, except instead of showing up at the end of each level with a new gadget to capture a hedgehog, he shows up at the end of each season with new gadgets. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what you're getting. I have not watched the newest episode of Mandalorian or whatever episode it. I think I stopped at 6. 6? Did I just 6, 7? I don't know. Who cares? I haven't watched the newest episode. I haven't heard really much about it. And that tells me everything I need to know about it. So, is the season finale on tonight? I've been out of the loop for a week, guys. I'm sorry. Season finale comes on Wednesdays. Is it Wednesdays? Or is it out? I don't know. Has the show concluded yet? I don't know. I don't know which year it is. I don't even know where I'm at right now. And most importantly, I don't even care. And that's my opinion on Mandalorian Season 3. I just don't care anymore. I hope Baby Yoda falls down a well and they never recover his corpse again, damn it. Let's go to the next question. Should I remove this image? Okay. The finale is out. The season is over. Thank you for that. So I will get around to watch. I'm not going to watch like the missed episode. I'm not. I'm just going to watch the season finale. I don't care about what happened in between that. Yeah, it came out last week, and oddly enough, no one has said anything about it. No buzz, nothing whatsoever. It made no one feel anything. Just a void of emotions. It just felt like the screenplay for season 3 was written by an AI robot on ChatGPT, doesn't it? All right. Get me worked up here. All right. Let's go to the next one. Anthony Perez says, what movie has left you the most satisfied while leaving the theater? Ooh, that's a good one, man. I could probably give you 100 answers to this. And there's been a lot of films that lived up to the hype, I think. But for me, like, I think back, I'll give you a weird one. I don't think anyone else would give you this. Was the obvious one might be like a movie like Nightcrawler that gave me everything I wanted. But another movie would be something like The Hateful Eight. I remember seeing that in theaters and thinking, man, that was kind of exactly what I wanted that to be. And I didn't know what I wanted it to be, but it was. That's one film. Another I always go back to is probably the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo remake. Watching that in theaters was so immersive and satisfying, and it felt like everyone character-wise did exactly what they should do and would do. And I enjoyed that immensely. Like, whenever I watch a film where I just immerse into it. I just surrender myself, my body, my being, everything that I have into the film, and it just takes me on a journey, and it doesn't let me down. It's like, it's so well written. That to me is like a great, perfect experience that is satisfying. So those are a few movies I'd go with. Night King 01 says, I don't understand making Evil Dead serious. I don't think the new movie was that serious. I mean, it was definitely serious, but it still had like that Evil Dead. I get what you're saying. You want like Ash from Evil Dead with a fucking chainsaw arm. I get what you're saying. And I think that would actually be a brilliant, I think that would be a better tone, to be honest with you. You're right. Like the new movies, in my opinion, yeah, they're serious, dark, and gloomy, but they have some of those same stylistic tones that made Evil Dead, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, they should bring back the campiness and the corniness of it all, and just do it to a more well produced version of what it used to be. You're right. Yeah, I actually would like to see a guy show up at like the apartment complex in the new movie with a fucking chainsaw. You know, that would be great. So I do actually kind of agree with you on that one. I think it would be way more fun. I think you would get more people talking about it. T600 Tiny Todd says, John, how psyched are you about Renfield? I saw Renfield. I absolutely did not like it. I thought it was a waste of Nicolas Cage's Dracula. I thought the story... first of all, I think the trailers lied to us. The parts where Nicolas Cage is Dracula and you have Nicholas Hoult as Renfield, those were great moments. And the opening sequence is basically a flashback throughout the decades or centuries of how Renfield became an employee of Dracula. And I felt like the movie should have been that. It should have been a movie that spanned maybe a century. You know, every decade takes like 20 minutes of screen time or whatever. And you could have told a movie throughout the ages. That would have been kind of cool, a great comedy. But what this movie is it turns into like a shitty, directed Walmart $5 bin cop movie with like a weird undertone of comedy in it, with actress Awkwafina avenging the death of her father, who was like the best cop that's ever lived. And then there's a crime syndicate of drug dealers. And then somehow they intersplice those two things, and then you get a movie called Renfield. And I thought it was just really a bad mess of a movie that kept taking me out of it every chance that it got when I was trying to get into it. And I would say, as far as the comedy goes, it's a comedy movie that makes you smile sometimes, but the jokes never last long enough to make you laugh. Like every time Nicolas Cage did something funny, it didn't feel like because the movie or the screenplay was written that way that, oh, this is a funny line. No, it was simply because Nick Cage delivered that mediocre bullshit line that it was even slightly enjoyable to watch. It's his little quirks and mannerisms that made everything funny. The actual lines themselves were not. And also the CG blood splatter in the movie looked like such an afterthought. It looked like PS2 video game graphics where someone gets shot, the blood just splats, and like 5 seconds later, it's gone. It's just like, but where's the residue? Where's the stain? It's just that's what the movie is. People say it's gory and graphic. No, it's not. It's just shitty iMovie effect blood splatters all over the place that instantly evaporate into the air before they even do anything. So I did not like the movie. I was sort of looking forward to seeing some Nicolas Cage as Dracula, and that was the best part. But it was not enough to make it a quality movie. It's definitely a movie no one's going to talk about in a week, and it came out a week ago, and no one's talking about it, except for me right now, because I'm a fucking loser. Robin J. Yang says, I know Keanu Reeves said he'd like to play Batman, but I want to see him as Deathstroke. Imagine the hand-to-hand combat scene, and he'd do his own stunts. Whoa. Yeah, you know what? I could dig it, man. I could see it. Now, I would love if, yeah, Keanu's aging. He's the right age for Deathstroke. I mean, the problem is, though, if he walked, he's definitely going to he needs to change up his acting style just a little bit, because, like, he's sort of just playing Keanu Reeves in everything that he's in. And that's a likable guy, and it works for the John Wick movies, what he's doing, it really does. But I would really need him to bring something immensely different to play like such an established character. But I could see it, and I wouldn't be opposed to it. The next one comes from... oh, here it is. Joseph Knoll says, do you still want to slap George Lucas's belly? Well, that is a great question. All right. No, but I want to do this to it, right to his belly button. And then he just makes it rain $100 bills. And I go, yes, George, yes. And that's the fantasy I always have every night when I close my eyes. The next question, though, comes from Kung Fu Hot Dog. The trans kid Evil Dead Rise was probably the Bud Light actor we had recently. I don't know who the fuck it was, but I actually thought it was a pretty good performance. I mean, I would like them to, like, I was like, why does this 16-year-old boy sound like he's 10? Like, I was like, what's going on here? But then once I found out, it all made sense. Matthew Castellona says, I thought I shared that I finally saw Schindler's List, and what a movie. Definitely one of Spielberg's best, and what's a better movie? Jurassic Park or Schindler's List? Well, I'll tell you one thing the Holocaust didn't have, and that's dinosaurs, okay? So, no, that's not right. They're two totally very different movies, man. I mean, for me, I'm all about rewatchability, and Jurassic Park definitely has a little bit more of that than Schindler's List. But when you want an emotional experience that drains you and makes you sad and makes you question the evilness of humanity and what we've done as a civilization to fellow human beings, that which is the Holocaust, it really makes you hate people. And movies like Schindler's List does that. You know, I go, oh my God, people are just excrement. You know, it's just like, look what we've done to each other. But if I want something a little more lighthearted where I can eat some popcorn, yes, I watch Jurassic Park. So two totally different movies. I'm more of a fan of Jurassic Park. And to be honest with you, I said this last time we talked about Schindler's List, because we do that on a weekly occasion here on my live show, is I actually prefer The Pianist as far as like a Holocaust movie goes. I know not many people would probably agree with that. I prefer it. I think it's a much more rewatchable film, and I really enjoy Adrian Brody in the movie. Gilliam LaBelle, how's it going, man? Watched Evil Dead Rise this week, and it's a good little horror film, but not a very good Evil Dead entry, in my opinion. It wasn't very scary, just a little bit gory. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was super scary either. It felt a little choppy. It felt like one sequence after another, and there was a few moments where I'm like, how did they get into this situation again? To me, it felt like a sequence of scenes at one point. It was okay. Like the first act wasn't a big fan of. The second, third acts I thought were fine. And like I said, it's an okay movie. I think it's a decent watch at the theater if you want a horror film. But like I said, I don't think it's going to go down as a huge classic. Optimistic Forever. I thought your name was going to be Optimus Prime or something. Optimistic Forever. Thanks for the super chat, but no question, but thank you. Dustin Rich says, would you rather get shoved into a brundle pod with a pigeon lady or your last girlfriend? What's a brundle pod? I don't know what that is, man. But I'll go with the pigeon lady on that. As long as she doesn't breathe on me. George Clooney says, I'm Batman. Hey, Freeze, I'm Batman. No, you're George fucking Clooney. Okay. Ines the Saya Shave. Why can I not read your name? I cannot read that. Anestheus Shave. Here it goes. Here's the question. I'm sorry I couldn't read your name better. Hey, John. A while back, you read a super chat from someone that said, on a bad day, they'll watch your Fantastic Four review to feel better. I still do that sometimes to this day, and it always works. You're a hero, John. First super chat. I need to get this name right because I feel like an asshole now. Is this like an anestheus shave? Okay, that's as good as I can do. I'm sorry, but thank you for the super chat, man, and thank you for that very generous, kind comment. Thank you for that. You know, sometimes I look back on that Fantastic Four stick review and I think, how did I not just explode? I look like I'm literally pulsating. The vein in my neck, I look like an erection. I look like one big human erection. That's what I look like in that video. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that's simply what I look like in that video. One big giant cock. But thank you for that. Night King 01 says, the comedy... See, this video has already been demonetized 7 times. It doesn't matter. Night King 01 says, the comedy is what set Evil Dead apart. Making it serious completely ruins uniqueness and makes it just another horror film. The show is genius. Yeah, I get you, man. It should have a little more comedy to it. I do agree. I actually think if you were to push those limits in this newest movie, I think it would do better at the theater. I really do. I think if you could introduce some characters like Ash, or fucking redo Ash, whatever you want to do, something like that, that would be what this franchise needs. It sort of does feel like another crazy, possessed horror film of the week. I mean, it was well made, but that's what it feels like. Joe Daglish has become a member. Thanks, Joel. Yay! Optimistic Forever says, sent you a heartfelt email last week. Was wondering if you received it or if there's another email you use. Also, any favorite musical film? I thought I responded. Did you send me the same email on Patreon and to my email accounts? Right? I thought I responded. I responded to you on Patreon. You sent me like the same email on email to my email and Patreon, right? Am I wrong? I thought I responded back. If I didn't, can you send it to me again tonight and bump it up in my email feed there, please? I thought I got back to you. I'm sorry if I missed it. I try, man. I really do. I get 97 emails a day. Some of them are stupid emails from like companies and promotions and studios promoting stupid shit. But yeah, send me that again. I thought I got back to it. Mickey C says, sorry, just joined, but am I the only one who can't get past the bad CGI in The Flash? Everything looks rubbery, has no weight to it. Anyway, hey, John. Hey, how's it going, Mickey? I do agree. Some of the CG... excuse me. Some of the CG does look a little... It doesn't look like they put a lot of care into human movement to get it accurate. It does have that very rubbery video game feel to it, especially when Michael Keaton's Batman flies down that tunnel and lands and rises up. It just looks like a CG person rising up. I'm like, you could have just fucking had a guy in a Batman suit do that. Come on. I agree with you. But when they're falling out of the sky and the Flash is zooming around, at that point, I just accept it for what it is. But a little more emphasis on the way human beings actually function would be nice. You know, if they put the same care that James Cameron puts into his 9-foot-tall blue aliens moving around on screen, then, you know, that's... They don't care, though. You know, no one cares as much as James Cameron, I guess. So, OE Reviews says, I know you're a big wrestling fan, currently rewatching the Attitude Era on Peacock Network. Gen Z will never know how good the 90s kids had it. Yeah, that's, I mean, I hate to say it, but the older I get, the more I realize I am so grateful I grew up in the 90s. I feel like it was, and don't take, I'm not trying to sound like an old man here, but just let me tell you something. Growing up in the late 90s was the last true generation where social media wasn't a thing. Playing hide and seek outside and using your imagination and riding your bicycle and playing video games that you had to put a fucking cartridge in to the console to play, and you didn't quite really have internet. Like, some of your friends might have had AOL dial-up that you snuck over there and looked up like porn or whatever it is, and it took 3 hours to download a JPEG image. But it was like pure, you know? It was like you could get away with being a stupid kid. And then when I became a teenager in the early 2000s, like, then like technology was moving and going. And then it really wasn't until I graduated high school that even Facebook was a thing. So what was the question here? Oh, yes. Gen Z kids. Yes. They really won't. I kind of feel sorry for kids growing up right now. I really do. Like, just like this is your life. This is it. You have to have this. I don't know, man. If someone wanted to push the reset button right now, I would not mind. I'm putting it out there. If TikTok was deleted today, I would be okay with that. But that's because I only believe in long form content. Seth Hall has become a member. Thanks, Seth. Yay! Thanks for that, man. I thought you were already a member, but either way. Kenji says, and by the way, we got Gilliam LaBelle here again. Hey, Freeze, want to get nuts? Where's Rachel? Rachel's dead. Joel says, hey, John, what are your thoughts on WWE introducing a new world championship? Yeah, if you guys didn't know, I'm a wrestling nerd. I like it. I think it's needed. It sort of feels like the participation trophy, though, at this point. It's like, well, you couldn't beat Roman Reigns, so you guys get this one now. Like, I get where they're going with it. Eventually, they're going to unify the Universal Championships that Roman Reigns has into one championship and then keep this championship so each brand has their own champion, which is smart. But until that point, this just feels like the participation trophy. So sorry if I sound weird right now. Once again, just a little COVID-y. Kenji says, what are your thoughts on The Punisher 2004 and The Crow? I liked The Punisher 2004, almost a guilty pleasure movie at this point. Not a perfect movie. It definitely could have used a little more money in its budget. John Travolta, at the end of the film, when Thomas Jane ties his ankle to the bumper of a car, and like he's rolling down the parking lot and he's screaming, the audio dubbing in that so atrociously bad. I always laugh at it. It's just, I don't know. It's a guilty pleasure movie, but I actually enjoy it. I always have. I really do. I think it's probably the best live action Punisher movie we've ever gotten, and I stand by that. But anyway, The Crow, I was never a big fan of The Crow. Just never was. Really, to be honest with you, never was. Both movies have satisfying endings. There will be a remake of The Crow, but I don't think it will be just as good as the original or better. Yeah, I haven't looked into it. I've heard about the remake. There's actually a shitty Crow sequel starring Edward Furlong. Did you know that? Anyway, thanks for the question. Shavam Dinzai says, hey, John, feel better soon. Been a fan for around 8 years now. By the way, watched Rain Man yesterday. 121, Raymond. 121. A solid movie. Can you recommend some other early Tom Cruise movies which are not talked about much now? Well, thanks for the question. It's Shavam. So some early Tom Cruise movies I enjoy are Risky Business. I think that's a phenomenal movie if you haven't seen it, where young Tom Cruise is left alone in his upper-class parents' home as they go on vacation, and he ends up turning it into he ends up starting a prostitution ring, and technically I would say human trafficking. But either way, it's to get some quick cash because he's an entrepreneur. That's a great movie. I love it. Check that one out. There's a few others from the early 80s. I mean, Tom Cruise had a small part in the movie. Oh, God, what was that called? Stay golden, pony boy. Why? It's not Rumblefish. It's The Outsiders. Oh, my God. Sorry, brain fog, COVID. So yeah, check out The Outsiders. He has a small role in that movie. But definitely watch Risky Business if you need an early Tom Cruise movie. I would say, but you're saying, but Rain Man was like early 90s Tom Cruise. I'm talking about early 80s. Watch A Few Good Men. You might enjoy that. If you can handle the truth. Kung Fu Hot Dog says Fast 10 is over budget and projected to do bad. Good. Sounds like every Fast and Furious movie, I guess. I don't. At this point, does anyone care? And speaking of hot dogs, you know who looks like a hot dog? Vin Diesel. The next one comes from Robin J. Yang. What's the best Peter Jackson movie besides Lord of the Rings? I like his movies. I like how his movies have style, and you can tell it's his movie. The bugs in King Kong scared me. Yeah, absolutely. Everything in Skull Island I really enjoyed from the King Kong movie. Sometimes when I'm in the mood for like an adventure movie, I skip over the first act of King Kong and Peter Jackson's King Kong, and I watch once they get to the island. So good. The T-Rex fight, good shit. I don't know, The Frighteners is kind of cool. I think that's kind of a cool movie from Peter Jackson. What else? You know, I'll tell you one movie of his I don't like watching, though. I'll tell you this one, and it has no rewatchability, is The Lovely Bones. That movie makes me sick. It's just so gross. It's so gross, and then at the same time, when they're trying to be like all dreamlike and enchanting, it just feels like CG, like they're standing in front of a green screen and I feel nothing, so it makes it even feel weirder. But man, the Lovely Bones. Oh God, when I think about that, it makes me never want to have kids. Like, you just can't trust them. Ugh. There's one more thing I wanted to say about the Lovely Bones. Hang on. By the way, did you know Ryan Gosling was originally supposed to play the role of Mark Wahlberg in the Lovely Bones? Yeah, Stanley Tucci in Lovely Bones, who plays the predator against children. The way he's just like a normal neighbor down the street. I have had so many old man neighbors in my life that reminded me of him. And even as a kid, before I knew any better, I always had this weird vibe with people like that. I always got this weird sense about people like that. And I just assume everyone that's weird like that is a predator, like Stanley Tucci was in Lovely Bones. Also, that movie ruined Stanley Tucci for me. I'm just saying it did. So yeah, maybe King Kong is Peter Jackson's next best movie. I'm trying to think of something else he did that was different or small scale, but I'm trying to. Somebody let me know. I don't know. I'll go with King Kong. All right, the next one comes from Anesthesia Shave says, does it help with the name, John? Oh, Anesthesia Shave. Yes, a space in there does. But I feel like I'm mispronouncing it still. That was hilarious. You're the best, man. Have you ever misfiled anything? Not once, not ever. I've never misfiled anything. Not once, not ever. The next one, and thanks for the question. Dustin Rich says, can you do an impression of Nick Cage as a priest at the beginning of Face Off? Well, hallelujah to you. Yeah, you know, the opening to Face Off is probably something we never get again either. Just groping the ass of some child in a choir? Like, what is that? I don't know, man. Edward Nito says, sup, John? I just showed my wife Seven. She was stunned by the ending. Are there any movies you've shared with your girlfriend that make you wish you could experience movies for the first time again? Well, sometimes watching movies with someone who hasn't seen it before is like experiencing it for the first time. For example, me and my girlfriend over the last week, since I've been sick, she was also sick. We watched a ton of movies. Oh shit, I watched 65, the Adam Driver sci-fi dinosaur flick that is not very good whatsoever. I put out a quick reaction of this on Facebook and on the Flickpick channel, like a reel video or whatever, the YouTube short, whatever stupid fucking shit they call it nowadays. I don't know. But anyway, I put out a 60-second video about I made it the other night when we watched it. And the movie 60, and I'm going to answer your question, but first I'm going to talk about 65 because I forgot about this, is the concept of this movie was everything 12-year-old me would love to see in a movie. You're telling me it's like a sci-fi futuristic movie with a guy from another planet who gets stuck on Earth 65 million years in the past to fight dinosaurs with a gun? Okay, here's my money, take it. And it sort of feels like the imagination of like a teenage screenwriter came up with all these ideas. And they're like, okay, the finale of the movie is we got dinosaurs, but it's when the asteroid comes to kill them all. That's the finale. Like, it felt like this high concept film with the most lackluster execution and overall story that it could possibly have. It just felt like one kind of tedious, boring, drab situation that the characters get stuck in after another. And at one point you could just tell that they were trying to milk the runtime without spending much money, because there's one portion of the movie, and I get that sometimes money is an issue when it comes to movies. I'm sure if the writers and the director and the producers of this movie had another $100 million, they probably would have done more. I understand. But there was two ways to go with a movie like this. It should have either went $500 million epic blockbuster movie, the biggest summer movie of the year or whatever, or it should have went like art house movie. And it was somewhere in between that it couldn't find its footing. But back to my point, there's one portion of this where they're stuck in a cave. Adam Driver is stuck in a cave with a little girl who looks identical to the little girl in the movie Logan. You know, remember Logan that came out 5-6 years ago? They literally had to have watched that movie and said, we want a little girl just like her to play the same kind of character in the same kind of role, where she's sort of being led by a heroic man figure or whatever. Anyway, they're stuck in a cave, and this fucking cave looks like it's made out of plastic. And like you can see the seams where they constructed the cave together. Like they pushed the sides of it together, and like you could see the crack of it. Like, I don't know. So the movie spent too much time there and lost too much energy. And then some of the dinosaurs looked a little bit bad. Some of them looked okay, I guess. But yeah, just kind of a wasted opportunity. But back to your point, yes, it is fun experiencing new movies or watching movies again with people who haven't seen them. My girlfriend has not seen. There's a lot of movies she has seen, but many she has not. So this last week, we have a projector in our room. We have a very long bedroom. It's very long. And we have a projector at the end of it that shoots up on the wall, and it's how we watch movies in bed. It's so relaxing. And I showed her Twister for the first time, and I forgot how damn good and pure and just pleasing something like the movie Twister is. Like, it's just like, the 90s got it right. Like, they were unapologetic. You could have fun in a movie. They all had badass soundtracks and scores that just like hyped you up and didn't make you all sad and depressed. Like, listen to the score of Twister. It's like at one point they're driving their cars trying to track down a fucking tornado, and they're playing like some hardcore like guitar solo, and you're like, oh yeah, this is good. So yeah, that was a good time. I also showed her Joyride, and I forgot how much I enjoyed Joyride. I wish a big storm would just come and wash all this away. Well, hey, Candy Cane, this is Rusty Nail. You bring your pink champagne to room 17? And Paul Walker does a great woman's voice in that movie. I forgot how good that was. So, yeah, Joyride's another great movie. So we were watching movies like that this week. Oh, we also watched the Lion King. But we've both seen that movie a lot. Do you want to hear my in-depth thoughts about The Lion King? I can give you those too. Thanks for the question, Edward. Mickey C says, There is no question. Only $5. I'm homeless now, but I want you to have this. When you're eating your next meal, think of me lying in the gutter. Oh, I will. I will. And I'll tell you what, it'll make that meal that much more enjoyable. No, no, no. Don't die on me. All right. You're not don't go in the gutter, man. You'll be okay. But thank you for that. That made me sad thinking about you in the gutter, man. It really did. But I'll take it. Kenji says, I like the actress who plays the kidnapped girl in The Lovely Bone. She did great in Lady Bird. Have you seen it? Lady Bird. Why do I fucking forget what that is? Sorry. Oh, the 2017 Greta main saying no. Did I see Lady Bird? I didn't. I feel like I watched this, but I'm just gonna say I haven't seen it. No, I haven't. I haven't seen Lady Bird. I thought I did, but I have not. So, no, she's a great actress. I wish she would do more. I thought she was gonna grow up. You ever see like young actresses or actors, and you think they're gonna grow up to be like the next like Tom Cruise or something, and then it just kind of never happens? I don't know. Maybe that's just a weird thing I've noticed lately. The next one comes from Jeff Fisher. Would you do a stream on gummies or using a bong? I'm not a bong guy, sorry. A gummy, I'll take a gummy any day of the week. I'll take a gummy right now. Would I do a live stream on them? Yes. I don't think you guys would enjoy it. So I will say this. When I take a gummy, I think I'm funnier. I really do think I'm funnier. And I'm even less filtered. But, I'm not, how do I say this? I'm not as cognitively competent. So I might just ramble on for like 2 hours about nothing. Or I might make a really valid point. I don't know if that would be a good thing for the sake of your entertainment. I don't think that's something you want to see. But I am hopped up on cough medicine right now, so it's pretty similar. Gomez McMahon says, thoughts on why Shazam 2 bombed at the box office. Really, I think it comes down to this. I think this is the most important reason that Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods bombed at the box office, and that is no one gave a shit. Just no one gave a fuck. No one cared. Just no one cared. Like 12 people did care, but no one else cared. They saw the writing on the wall. DC was dead. They were starting over. The first Shazam did okay, but it didn't break any box office records. And the sequel took way too long to come out. It lost all momentum. And the thing about Shazam Fury of the Gods, I don't think it was a terrible movie, but it was just, here's another comic book movie. We've seen it. We've done it 800 times. Every trope, every cliche, the overarching story of the entire movie from start to finish, you could sort of just guess the way the movie was going to go without even seeing it. It's exactly the movie I thought it would be. So I think that's why I don't think many people cared. And I also feel like unless the movie coming out to the theaters, the next big, amazing, epic movie where you have to leave your house to see it, people are being conditioned to stay home and wait for streaming for movies that they're on the fence about. And for something like Shazam, it came out and guess what? It hit streaming like 2 days later. I mean, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, but so there was no incentive to go see it. So I think those are a few reasons why, I would say. Plus it didn't, I mean, I don't know. It just looked really blah, didn't it? I don't know. The next one comes from Claudia Rojan. A little late, but how was your night, John? My night, it's 1:40 a.m. in the morning. I did not plan on doing a live stream tonight. I just felt like we should talk about some movies. It was the first day in a week I felt good, and I kind of missed you guys. And also I'm going to see early screening of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 soon. So I'm looking forward to that. And I mowed my grass today, and I was feeling a little bit energetic for the first time in a week. And I just wanted to come on here and ramble on and say hey. So that's how my night's going. How's your night going? And by the way, I could not taste this. This could be gasoline or horse piss. It probably is both those things because it is a monster. But yeah, I can't taste it. Mickey C says, "Don't worry, I'm not in the gutter. Wait, did I just spend another $5 to tell you this? Oh, well, that really was my last 5. Goodbye." No, Mickey, no! Don't go to the gutter for me, man. You don't have to super chat me anything, dude. And none of you do. You really don't. I try to get to the normal chat as much as I can. But you guys are too generous, I think. And I thank you for that, but you don't got to give me shit, man. All I want, just watch. That's all just watch. That's it. I mean it. Like, that's all you have to do. Just watch. I'll take the money from the corporations who want the sponsorships. I'll take their money, all right? The next one comes from It's gonna come somewhere. By the way, if you guys are members, feel free to chime in the chat. Let me know how you guys are doing. How's everybody doing tonight? And we got 294 beautiful people. I was going to call you guys beautiful bastards, but I thought that would be rude. I don't know. The next, beautiful badasses. How's that? How are my beautiful flickomaniacs doing tonight? That's your name, you flickomaniacs. You guys want to talk about a couple Blu-ray movies? Let me answer this next question, and we'll dive into these movies here. Joey Ruiz, Lord of the Rings, says, "Hey, Johnny, can you do a review of Beau Afraid?" Well, you've summarized the title a little bit. "Please, P.S., can you only pick one meet/greet book signing and dinner? Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd? Who would I rather meet between the two?" Oh, Bill Murray all day, man. All day. Now, if you could pick any actor I could meet, it'd probably be Arnold or Nick Cage, maybe. But I will see Beau is Afraid or Not Afraid or whatever it's called. But yeah, what is it called? Beau is Afraid or Beau is Not? I don't know. You paraphrased. Beau is Afraid? I don't know. I will see it eventually. It's just, like I said, I was sick this week. So very quickly, I got a double feature in the mail today. We have Deep Impact on 4K. Hell yeah, baby. One of the best disaster films ever made, with Morgan Freeman playing the president of the free world. The waters will recede. And then we have this abomination against humanity, this drizzled pile of trash here with these. I wish this was in 4K so I could see all the wrinkles on these old ladies' faces. 80 for Brady. Now, I did watch part of this movie, and that's all I needed to watch. And I would never watch the rest of it. But anyway, this exists on Blu-ray. So are you guys going to pick up 80 for Brady on Blu-ray? It was mailed to me today. And but let's talk about Deep Impact. Now, I have not watched this on 4K yet. I am savoring the flavor because I will watch it this summer, because I'm sort of on a 90s disaster kick right now of movies. Like I said, I just watched Twister last night. And I'm hoping this looks good on 4K. Always enjoyed this movie in theaters immensely. And this came out around the same time another disaster film came out in 1998, and that was called Armageddon. Now, tonally, two very different movies. I would say Deep Impact is the thinking man's movie compared to both of them, but I enjoyed both. And I remember seeing this in theaters with my little cousin and just thinking, wait, at the end of the movie, all they had to do is drive a dirt bike 2 miles up a mountain and they could live. Oh, that seemed pretty simple enough. Why didn't more people do that? I don't know. But I'm looking forward to rewatching it. John Flickinger, who should direct Guardians of the Galaxy Tape 4? I don't think we're getting that shit. Tape 4, I don't know. Guardians of the Galaxy 4, I don't think we're going to get. This is the last one, but I couldn't tell you, man. I don't know. I don't know who would be a good replacement for James Gunn. Michael Bay, maybe? I'm just kidding. Come on. There we go. All right. The next one comes from Claudia Rogajan, who says, random, but I just watched Desperado again. It was a nice change of pace from the CGI heavy garbage nowadays. Not a great movie, but fun nevertheless. Yeah, Desperado, I dug it. I could dig movies like that every once in a while. Pure. Yeah, not a bad pick. Yeah, sometimes it's nice just to go back and cleanse the palate, man, and watch something like with practical effects where real people are just doing real things. And that brings me to another point. I want you guys to let me know in the chat over here. Did anyone watch the new Peter Pan and Wendy movie on Disney Plus? Now, I've heard it's okay. I've heard it's well made. But for me, I would just rather watch Hook. Like when you watch this new Peter Pan and Wendy movie, don't you just think to yourself, yeah, but Hook is better? I haven't seen it yet. I want you guys to chime in and let me know if you've seen it. Is it good? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know. I'll read some of your comments. Joy Ruiz, Lord of the Rings, says, hey, Johnny, can you do a review of... Oh, sorry. I already answered this. Okay, I already answered that. And I will do a review of it. Oh, there's one last thing I wanted to show you guys. And if you guys follow me on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, whatever social media outlet I'm crapping stuff out on a weekly, daily basis. If you follow me, you might have already seen this, and I do apologize if I'm showing it to you again, but I think it's hilarious. Hang on. So, sometimes studios send me press kits of things to show and unbox for free publicity for their upcoming movies, and this was for the movie Big George Foreman, which I've not seen yet, which I think comes out tomorrow, Thursday or Friday, right? Comes out the 28th, right? So they sent me an actual George Foreman grill with this on it. I thought that was hilarious. I love it. And the box is kind of cool too. So, but yeah, I actually needed a George Foreman grill because sometimes I like to cook burgers inside in the wintertime. I wonder if this can come off, the sticker. I wonder if that's dangerous that's on there. Anyway, yeah, so they sent me this. Kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. Not every movie can utilize cookware in their marketing, so. Let's see. Brave Blade Production says, I watched Armageddon the other night. Old school Michael Bay is great. He was, man. Michael Bay can make some good-ass movies early on in his career. The Rock is a phenomenal action movie. MKF30, how's it going, man? I hope you feel better, dude. Yeah, the loss of taste and smell sucks. Surprised Covey's still around. Wanted to ask, what's worse, Renfield or Rob Zombie's Monsters? Rob Zombie's Monsters, by far, yes. By far. Nope, didn't watch it, but I'd prefer Hook. The new Evil Dead is absolutely awesome. Still prefer 2013 remake, though. Yeah, I haven't seen the 2013 remake since it came out. I did a review for it. I would be interested to go watch that review. I'm sure it's not very good, but I haven't seen it since 2013, so maybe at one point I'll go back and revisit it. I love the 2003 Peter Pan as a kid, but it's hard to beat Hook. I definitely prefer Hook more than the new Peter Pan. I would rather watch the original animated Peter Pan. I like the animated Peter Pan. Tiger Lily. Don't step on it like Michael Scott. Yeah. The reference of stepping on it. Yes. So, Steven Spielberg saw the new Indiana Jones movie and says that it's great. Well, I'm sure he did. Just like James Cameron said, Terminator Genisys is good. Oh, you mean they're the producer of the film and they're saying it's good? Oh, gee, okay. Oh, as opposed to saying, yeah, it's pretty good, but could have been better. How do I donate to ask a question? The Streamlabs link isn't working for me, isn't it? Does the Streamlabs link not work? I don't know. You can just do a super chat if you want. You don't have to, man. If you just would have asked a question there, I would have read it. But you just do a super chat on the message thing at the top. You just click whatever super chat you want, type a message, send that shit. It's right at the top of the chat. It should be. But yeah, if the Streamlabs link isn't working, I don't know. It wasn't working for me last time. Let me click it. Yeah, page not found. Maybe I should fix that at some point. Gomez McMahon says, do you think the third Avatar gets past 2 billion? How much did the newest one make? How much did the newest Avatar movie make so far? I don't know. It has to be something different. They need to interject something different into this franchise that we haven't seen so far. Possibly. I've heard there's like fire people or something supposedly happening. I definitely think the finale of the franchise will do very well, but will the third one do well? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. That's a tough question. I wish I was getting some of the profits and I would care more. Mickey C says, have you been to Australia, John? I have not. I would like to go one day, but that's pretty far away, man. That's a far location to get to, and not a cheap one either. So I have not been, but I'd like to check it out. The Flash early reviews ain't fooling me. Yeah, I talked to someone that I trust. They said it's entertaining. It's not like the next groundbreaking comic book movie of all time, but it's fulfilling. So what more can you ask? What's my favorite horror movies of all time? I like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, personally. I don't go back and rewatch them that much anymore. I liked the Insidious. I liked the first Insidious quite a bit. I liked the first Conjuring quite a bit. I liked The Ring. I've liked movies like It Follows. I wish we got some more simplistic horror films like that. So whatever can immerse me and get me into the story and the situation, I enjoy. Sometimes when it's just, I like when there's a real mystery too to the horror film itself. I like when there's an actual mystery you give a shit about. I think that's great. So those are a few I would go with. The Super Mario Bros. Movie recently grossed $900 million in the global box office. Well, cha-ching. Well, good. That was a movie with Mario in it. T600 Tiny Todd says Mario is almost at $1 billion. Indeed it is. Yeah, I get it, man. Name recognition goes a long way, especially with Mario movies. Well, not the Super Mario movie from '93, but I get why the new one's doing so well. I get it. And plus, it's an animated kids movie that I think parents nowadays, because their nostalgic love growing up with Mario, will go see it as well. I wish it would have been more than it was. You know, it had everything except for heart or an interesting story. And I get that it's based on the story from the video games. But I don't know. I wanted it to be like on Pixar's level. I wanted to feel something. I wanted to really be in tune with these characters. I wanted some like adult humor that went over kids' heads, but adults could appreciate. Just little things like that. So, and I didn't get any of it. But none of that matters because it's going to make $1 billion. Claudia Rogajan says, random, but have you ever seen the Jackie Chan film City Hunter? It's free on YouTube. It's completely insanity, and I can't tell if it's good or terrible. Well, if you can't tell if it's good or terrible, then as long as it's entertaining, I guess it's doing its job, right? I have not seen it, man. There's $1 billion. Hang on. Oh, was that muted? So anyway, let's go to the next topic. You can hear me now. Anyway, what I was saying was this is the Jackie Chan Volume 2 collection, and I was saying in here is City Hunter, and it's actually in this collection. And Claudia Rojan, you should pick this up. So this is the collection you need. It has a shit ton of movies on it, and this is just Volume 2. So I do, in fact, own City Hunter on Blu-ray, but I have not seen it. How did that get muted? Did my chair hit the mute button on here? All right. Good. You can hear me now. All right. Kenji says, have you been to Japan? How can I get you to watch anime, John? I've watched many anime, and I'm just, you know what it is? I think there's anime films I can enjoy, but I'm just not into it. And also, I feel like I'm so far behind in my anime knowledge. For me to catch up feels like an obligation before I can start to truly enjoy it. So I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of anime. I'm sorry. Just that's where I'm at right now in life. But I get how people enjoy it. I like movies that take influence from anime. I do. I like it. The genre to me is just, I don't know. It's just not something I would ever pop in and watch. LAFC Lalo says, are you excited for anything that was announced at CinemaCon? I didn't keep up with any of the announcements at CinemaCon, man, to be honest with you. None. I didn't keep up with any of it whatsoever. I didn't read one article about it. I don't know anything about it. I don't know any of the announcements. So if you guys want to tell me some of the announcements that got you excited, that made you perk up and go, oh, that's coming out, let me know. I mean, did they announce anything that wasn't already announced? No, my mic wasn't unplugged. There's a mute button right here. My chair hit it. Like, I couldn't accidentally do that again if I tried. Last movie that creeped you out? Oh, man. I don't know. We were talking about Lovely Bones earlier. I don't know if any movies creep me out more than that, but creeped me out. I don't know. I can't think of a movie that's recently creeped me out. Sorry. Renfield. It creeped me out how bad it was. All right, here we go. Claudia Rojan. Best thing in City Hunter movie is the homage to the Street Fighter. Never in my life did I think I would ever see Jackie Chan in drag as Chun-Li, but it happened. Yes, this is a real part of the movie. Oh, this City Hunter is the one that has the Street Fighter parody sequence in it? Okay, I've seen that many of times. Yes. Yes, okay. Good to know. I did not know that. Thank you for letting me know that. I've seen that scene on YouTube, which is... That scene alone is better than the Street Fighter movie. Joey Ruiz, Lord of the Rings, says, Bo Afraid, what's your vibe about the trailer? Oh, I'm into it. I want to see it. I think it'll be interesting. I have a feeling that it might overstay its welcome by about 45 minutes, just because art house films tend to do that, because the pretentiousness of the director and the writer. Well, this message really has to play itself out, and we need the screen time to do so. You know, sometimes it's like that, but it can also be needed. I've heard it's a little too long for its own good, but good nevertheless. I haven't seen it yet. Barbarian was disturbing. Yeah, you know what it is? I think I'm just numb to things like that. Like when I saw Barbarian, I saw the lady's hairy tits being milked. I just thought, oh, that's funny. Like I didn't think it was scary or gross. To me, what's scary or creepy or gross, and yes, the whole sentence I just said was outrageous, I know, but I meant it. when I think of like creepiness, I think of something like Buffalo Bill. I think of like serial killers that could exist, that have existed, and have done terrible things to people. To me, that's way more terrifying than something so outrageous that just feels fictional. So that's what gets under my skin, like real things that could happen to people, you know, like movies like, gosh, hang on. I was gonna say movies like The Strangers is kind of creepy to me, but it's an okay movie. But you get what I'm saying. Or a movie, a movie that creeped me out, like movies like Prisoners creep me out. Like real things like that could happen. Imagine your kids being abducted. That could happen any day of the week. Just talk to my Uncle Gary. He's been doing it for years. LA says, I saw it today and didn't mind the runtime. Well, good to know, man. We got Joel here. Here it goes. Hey, John. What's the best way to display steelbooks? I put all my movies on a shelf back there. I just line them up sideways. If you like some of your steelbooks and you think they're really sexy and you need to display them to let those babies breathe, get a little display mount for your Blu-rays and set them up on there. Put them on your shelf, maybe a couple of them. I don't know, something like that could be cool. But just for condensing my collection and getting them all on the shelves, I put them all spines out. Hi, Michael Parton. Yes, I did miss you. Mickey C says, horror movie plot, you're in the gym and every time you look at a piece of candy ass, a demon hits you in the nuts. Mel Gibson will play the gym manager and Arnie will play the veteran hero lifter. What is this movie? I'm sorry. I like it. Okay, fine. Claudia Rogojan says, yes, the scene alone is better than the Street Fighter movie. Thank you for saying that. It's more accurate somehow. Oh, it's absolutely more accurate. Jean-Claude Van Damme doesn't come in with a fucking French accent pretending to be the American hero Guile. Joey Ruiz, Lord of the Rings, says, Evil Dead scary. How about Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Fuck yeah. Yeah, so I always forget that when people ask me, like, my horror movies that I like. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, yes. You could go with the original. If I wanted to sound like a real film critic, that's what I would say. But the truth is, I'm just a dude who talks about movies, and I'm going to give you the honest opinion, even if you like it or not. I much prefer the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Jessica Biel. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's one of the best horror remakes ever made. And when Leatherface is chasing people through the woods or through that cornfield, or when they finally get to the meat packing plant at the end of the movie, and he's all fucked up and deranged and like hunched over and huge with a chainsaw that's just smoking, and you can see the moisture just reciprocating off of the blades of the chainsaw. It's fucking terrifying to me, and I love every second of it. So yeah, you're right. That is terrifying. Movies where just a big deranged motherfucker is chasing you, that to me is terrifying. That's all it would take in real life to just make me curl up in the fetal position and give up. Zombies ate your neighbors, Johnny. Yeah, one day they'll actually make this a movie. I'm hoping so. Claudia Rojan says True Detective Season 1 is creepy. Yeah, it's pretty good. True Detective Season 1 the vibe is right. It does feel eerie and desolate, and it just feels like everything is wrong and off with a seediness to it. I do agree with that. I was actually starting to rewatch that a few months ago, and I got the first few episodes out of the way and got busy and stopped. I need to go back and revisit it, though. M says, movies aren't scary to me. Yeah, you know what the thing is? Yes, I get what you're saying, but sometimes you just have to let in. You have to give yourself to the movie. You have to surrender yourself to that movie. And it could be scary, but you also have to set up the right... environment to experience the movie. You can't watch a horror film at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a summer day. No. That shit's not going to work. Okay? You gotta dim the lights. You gotta get everything just right. Hopefully it's raining outside. That adds to it. And maybe, and just maybe, if you're not afraid of movies, well, maybe you watch the next horror film when you're all alone. With all the lights off, no one's there, just you and the flickering glow of the television screen looking back at you. Maybe that's how you should watch your horror films. Maybe that'll help you get more immersed. I don't know. But that's way too bright. There we go. Did you see The Hills Have Eyes? I love The Hills Have Eyes. I think that's also another great remake. There's been like 5 great horror movie remakes that I would almost say did things better than the originals. And The Hills Have Eyes is one of them. When they have the big crazy dude with the neck brace at the end of the movie with the pickaxe. Oh, and that movie also has Ted Levine in it, who played Buffalo Bill. Good stuff. Oh, and the one guy in The Hills Have Eyes, I love to do it. I never leave here. He's got a big old brain just flopping off the back of his chair. That's good stuff. CGI made horror movies less scary. Absolutely. Whenever you can see PS2 video game graphics in your horror film, it instantly reminds you, oh, this isn't real, and your brain shuts off. Yeah, I agree. Completely agree. The more I learn about filmmaking, the less scary films have become. Well, that's because it's like going to a magic show and the magician is telling you all of his tricks. So yeah, I get it. There's a rhythm to all stories. There's a way everything is shot, and once you see it, I get it. But sometimes what I like to do is just turn off my thinking brain when I watch a movie. You just got to turn that off a little bit. Dumb yourself down a little bit. And that's why I think everyone should take drugs when they watch movies at home. It'll make the movie so much better. It really does. So maybe try that. Just putting it out there. I'm not a doctor and I'm not a lawyer, but that's just my recommendation from one dude to you guys. And I'm not saying take the hard stuff, anyone. I'm just, maybe take a gummy if it's legal where you live. That's all I'm saying. The Flash movie is already better than No Way Home. Okay, so that's an interesting comparison. And I would love to hear someone actually say that who's seen the movie. I need to ask the person who's seen the movie if they think it's better than No Way Home. I can probably tell you they don't, but that would be an interesting comparison to make. It definitely is the Batman No Way Home movie. Batman, My Parents Are Still Dead, the movie. Maverick, I'm very generous. I'll just say that. Claudio Rojan is my beneficiary, everyone. Thank you, Claudio. MKF30 says, Smokey the Bear says no to drugs, though. No, he says no to forest fires. Come on. You can't light a forest on fire with an edible. Think about it. You'll be cool. All right, guys. I got Claudio Rojan here again. It's not scary, but Evil Dead 2 is awesome. It's good stuff, man. I actually kind of feel like going back and rewatching it. And then also Claudio says The Hills Have Eyes remake and Scream 1 is scary. I think there's definitely scariness to Hills Have Eyes, the first movie. The other ones suck. Scream 1 is also scary, yeah. If you don't know who the killers are in the first Scream film, there's definitely an eeriness and a suspense and thrill vibe to it that puts you on the edge of your seat. I mean, fuck. I still know who the killers are 20-something years later, and I rewatched the first Scream movie a month ago, and there's moments where I'm on the edge of my seat. And I was like, I know Billy and Stu did it. Which, by the way, I got to take a picture with them at MegaCon in Orlando a few weeks ago. That was pretty cool. I was the same height as Billy. That was interesting to me. Brandon's in here. What's up, everybody? I just wanted to say hi. Well, hi, Brandon. No, Scream 1 isn't necessarily scary. It's just thrilling. It's a thriller, okay? It does its job. Let's not all act like... We're not going to act like tough macho men here. It's okay to be afraid, and sometimes it's okay to cry, as long as no one's looking. And by the way, when I watched The Lion King last night, I did kind of cry. When he's playing with his father, Mufasa, in that field, oh, God, it makes me sad. You just know that's their last time hanging out together. No one messes with your dad. They start rolling around in the grass. Oh, God. Oh, it just makes me so sad. You know, that's the last moment they're going to have together. So anyway, sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent here. All right, guys, I'm gonna ask I'm not gonna ask. You guys are gonna ask a few more questions. Feel free to ask a few more questions. I'm gonna try to get to as many of them as I can in the next just 2 minutes here, and then I'm gonna wrap up this live show and probably go finish my Subway waiting for me in the refrigerator. Oh, that chicken teriyaki sandwich that I cannot taste has my name all over it. So, Scream 6 was good. I disagree with that. Bobby Fischer says, you're the man. Been watching you for 8 to 10 years. Was it 8 or is it 10? But thanks, man. Thank you for that. I've been having a lot of existential midlife crises. Is that the proper term for the plural term of crisis? Crises lately? Where I've been thinking to myself, I'm 36 years old. I'm only going to get older. I'm only going to get slower. I'm only going to get dumber. And I'm already at a point with technology where I don't want it to advance. I'm sort of like how I feel like my grandparents were when VCRs came out. They're like, okay, we're going to buy the VHS tapes, but I'm not buying the next thing. And then they just stayed where VHS was. And I ask myself, will I do the same thing? Is this just how I'm going to be the rest of my life? I don't know. Scares me. I can't keep up with the youth of today. You youngsters out there, man. Kenji says, you missed my super chat. No, I didn't, Kenji. Here it goes. Thoughts on the movie Wrong Turn? The movie terrified me as a kid. See? I didn't miss it. I got it. It was at the top, but it hadn't quite updated. Okay, so I see it now. I have seen the first Wrong Turn. I know there's 8 sequels that all progressively got worse. I thought the first Wrong Turn was good from what I remember, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. It's a nice, simple movie. But the thing about Wrong Turn was it sort of reminds me of my stepdad's family, who in fact do live in the hilly area of the South. And it's sometimes watching, I've already lived it. So watching it makes me feel like I'm there again. And I don't know. Kevy Rez says, ever watch Barry? I have not. I've heard good things. Claudio Rogajon says, Sinister, actually pretty scary too. Sinister. Yeah, Sinister's scary as shit, man. I love, the first Sinister's good. I will say my problem with it is once they have the Skype call and they talk about the antagonist of the film, Bagul, it sort of takes me out of it every time. I wish the evil presence, which was Bagul, had been saved for a little bit later in the movie. I wish the mysteriousness of that was held off a little bit longer. Because once they say it's just this guy creature, I don't know. It takes you out of it just ever so slightly, or at least it does for me. And plus it's fucking Bagul. Bagul. What is that? I do need to go back and watch, sorry, my brain. Oh, Wrong Turn. I will go back and maybe I'll show my girlfriend Wrong Turn because I don't remember the movie very well, and I doubt she's seen it. So maybe we'll watch that. Sylvester Stallone's Tulsa King. What did you think? I haven't started it yet. I'm kind of savoring the flavor. I just don't want it to be sort of like a generic mafia show. I know the whole premise and everything. I don't know. I wish it was more like The Sopranos that happen to have Stallone in it. Like that's when it comes to like mafia shows, that's like the caliber and the level I need them to be. Who would win in a fight, Homelander or Superman? Probably Superman, but I think Homelander, it would be an interesting fight. So you mean to say your relatives were cannibals? No, that would be a compliment. No, they're much worse. I like Red Dragon, Hulk versus Voldemort. I like the movie Red Dragon as well. Do you see? I don't know how John sees super chats. Yeah, what happens is I have two chat logs. I have two windows, and one has super chats, one has the normal chat, and they're both just like moving like this the whole time. So I'm constantly trying to figure out where I was. That's how. John Joseph Gray says, "Hey John, I've been subscribed to your channel for the past 8 years. Keep up the good work. I think video game adapted movies will beat comic book movies." I don't know about that, man. See, the Mario movie was like the biggest IP in video games mixed with a children's animation movie, which is easily consumable and made for all ages. And when you have a movie made for young kids, well, every adult person who sort of likes Mario is going to, of course, take their kid to go see it because they can both get some enjoyment, and the kid will shut up for like an hour and a half. So I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think video games or movies will ever outshine the box office of superhero movies. I really don't. Unless that genre picks up immensely and they start making way better films. Now, they did make the Last of Us TV series, which is good. And I guess some people like Mario Brothers movie, which I whatever, but I don't know. I don't think so. I think the comic book genre will stay king for now. I just think they're more universally loved. You know what I mean? I think everyone who knows who Superman or Batman is, I'll go watch that movie. But when you put out, like, I don't know, like Tomb Raider, it's like, yeah, like some people love it. Some people kind of know who it is, but the majority, I feel like, don't care. Something, for just an example. You didn't get it. It was Ed Norton and Ray Fiennes. Oh, sorry. Dude, I have brain fog right now. If you're too witty in your comment, my brain won't pick up on it right now. But now I do get it. I'm sorry. Young Hollywood says, horrible take. Young Hollywood, you need to put emphasis and explain what the fuck you're talking. I don't know what you're talking about. A horrible take on what? Give some substance to your criticisms, or don't give your criticisms. I'm just kidding. I'm not even gonna get that serious. I'm just kidding. I don't know what you're talking about. The next one comes from the Human Centipede movie. Creeped me out. It just grossed me out, man. Josh says, don't just stare at it, eat it. Well, I can't eat it right now, but I will drink it. And thank you, Josh. Young Hollywood says, I'm high, brother. Okay, man. Jay Wheeler, how's it going, man? Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat movie would do $1 billion. Yeah, do you think Hollywood could ever pull their head out of their own ass to do such a movie? Secondly, do you think they could also get Street Fighter right and Mortal Kombat right when they barely got Mortal Kombat right once, and that was 25 years ago? I don't know. If you made the best version of that movie that it could ever be, do I think it would do very well? Yes. But it will never make more money than, say, something Avengers Endgame. It'll never do more than that. Even the best video game movie will never do as good as the best superhero comic book movie. And that is why one wins the box office and the other one does not. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to see that shit. Trust me. I've been waiting for a good Mortal Kombat movie since the 1995 one, and we still haven't quite got it. I know some people like that thing that we got a few years ago, but... MKF30 says, "Whoa, John looked serious for a second. You're always nice and jolly. Go lucky, so when you get mad, probably scary, I bet." I don't get mad very long. You know why? Because everything to me can be a joke. It really can. The most tragic event in life can be a joke if you just let it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'd much rather laugh than cry. It's probably a defense mechanism to suppress some childhood trauma, but either way, I was just kidding. When I pretend to get serious, I'm literally joking. I'm acting. I'm an actor. T600 Tiny Todd says nothing, but did in fact donate $1.21, and I thank you for that. Jesus is in here. How's it going, man? What came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. You're Jesus. You tell me. You know what I would like to say? I would imagine that there had to have been some creature that then shit out an egg and then gave birth to the first ever chicken at some point in evolution. So I would say some life form came and then crapped out an egg, and then eventually whatever popped out of the egg eventually became what we know as a chicken. Yeah. But now that you said that, it sounds really good. Scrambled eggs. And I'll tell you something about scrambled eggs. There's two ways to eat your scrambled eggs. A little bit of hot sauce, but hear me out. If you want to get trashy for a second, and this is how I was raised. Put a little ketchup on them. A little ketchup on those scrambled eggs. Oh, that's good stuff. John, so you're basically the Joker. No, I'm basically Patrick Bateman. The next one comes from Billy M. How long have you done YouTube full time? And would you go insane if you returned to a normal job with insane people? People would say, that's FlickPick. I don't know if anyone would actually say that, but I've been doing YouTube full time since 2014. And I have thought about doing a normal job because I'll keep it real with you. There's some days where I'm like, it would almost just mentally be easier to go somewhere, do what somebody else wants. I don't have to get creative or figure out a way to make this video or push record on this and edit this video and hope people watch it or try to get a sponsorship deal this month. Part of me has thought like maybe just working a normal job would be easier. And then I thought to myself, well, I hate people and I don't know how I could do that every day and not just internally explode and combust. And the other thing is, I don't know if I could see, I've always looked at jobs like this. They've always felt like short-term prison sentences to me. Every time I've had to go to work, any place I've ever went, even if I sort of enjoyed the job or didn't like the job or whatever, anytime I had to like wake up, go there, I have to be here for a set amount of time. I'm not allowed to leave. I can't do what I want. And I'm just here. And then you get to leave and then you don't want to go back ever again, but you do. It just felt like prison to me. And that's how I looked at school too. So I don't know if I could ever go back to a normal job. I would have to do, if I wasn't doing YouTube, I'd probably do my own thing, doing something else. I have a few ideas, a few backup plans for what I would do. And I assure you, one of them does not. Well, it could kind of relate. I could make YouTube videos out of it, but it doesn't relate to movies or anything like that. It's very straightforward. It's kind of an occupation you probably never guess I'd go into, and it is. Yeah, I do want to be a male gigolo. That is the. No, I'm kidding. It's not that at all. But so yeah, I've been doing YouTube full time since 2014. But there's many of nights where I set up thinking, man, well, what else would I do besides this? What else would I enjoy as much as this? What else would give me the creative freedom and outlet that I crave and need? But you know the thing is, you know the biggest detriment I have, I think, when it comes to YouTube, and it's slowly been fizzling out of me the last couple of years. I've grown to the point where I no longer need the accreditation of talking about things on YouTube, or I guess my ego has faded away, you know, and those are a couple of things that it takes to make it on YouTube. You have to have kind of an ego to make it on YouTube. You have to think, I'm the fucking best, and if I don't put out a video today, everyone's going to forget how good I am. And when you lose that mentality, you kind of go, oh man, and then you start hating the sound of your own voice. And then you start getting to the point where, like, okay, do I want to talk about this movie news today of the new comic book movie? And then deep down inside, you're like, well, do I really give a fuck about this comic book movie? Does this really matter? Or would I rather go mow my grass right now? So it's a weird fine line you're always walking. So I hope I answered your question. And Evil Nerd says he's taking a poop right now, and I thank you for that. I thought it was pretty awesome when you were featured in Watch Mojo. I was featured in Watch Mojo's top 10 movie reviewers back in 2014. Or was that 2014? 2014, yeah, I think it was. That was really cool, man. John, the L in your logo does look a bit like a U. Anyone ever accidentally think it was? Yes, it was 100% intentional. So yeah, if you look back, well, you can see the logo down here in the corner of the screen, but I was referring to the one back here. So if you look at the flick pick and you look at the L and the I, it kind of looks like a U. So it looks like it says the flick pick, but in fact it says the flick pick. Now, I learned of this mysterious little happy accident when I was in high school, when substitute teachers would see my name in all capital letters and accidentally say the word fuck, and everyone would laugh, myself included. And then I thought to myself, when I went to school for marketing and graphic design, well, the trick of any great logo is to make someone look at it twice. Like, oh, you have to look at it twice to kind of like, what was that? So that's what I did with my logo. I wanted the L and the I to make you have to do a double check of it. Like, oh, is that a U? Oh, no, it's not. It says flick. Haha. So, yes, I'm very aware of it. John, what's your favorite apocalyptic movies? Mad Max Road Warrior. Just because there's a fucking guy wearing a hockey mask covered in oil, man, and he's just telling people, hey, listen, leave the fuel and I will spare your lives. But he's more like this. Leave the fuel and I will spare your lives. And I love things like that. But if you want something more realistic, I like the movie The Road a lot. I don't think it's perfect, but I enjoy watching it. And the scene in the movie The Road where they go down in the basement where the cannibals are keeping all the people just deteriorating away. They're all skinny and bones and dirty and gross. I wouldn't eat them. You know you're going to get infected if you eat them with something. I'd rather eat tree bark. But I enjoy movies like that. I wish we had more post-apocalyptic movies. We do not have enough of them. Billy M says, I hate people is the correct answer. Congrats. Well, thanks, Billy. Yeah, people, especially people in positions of power, are just so stupid. I have a buddy who works at this brand new office building, a brand new, super nice, state of the art, and like he's just like, I have no reason to actually go there. Like I can work from home, I can do more things from home, I'm more productive. I can just sit here at home and do it. And I'm just like, isn't that so stupid? They make you go there every day. Like you have to put on your underwear, your pants, get in your car and drive there just to sit there and do the same thing you can do at home. It's utterly disgusting to me. Now keep in mind there are some jobs where you have to go there and do the job, and like I'm thankful that people do that. I really am. There's a lot of jobs like that people work. I'm just like, if they weren't there, like shit would not get done. So I give it to them. I wish people got paid more for them. I think any job you have to go physically be there, you should be getting paid for your time. And your time is valuable. It really is. It's the most precious commodity you have. Magass says, love the shirt. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, my Zombies Ate My Neighbor's shirt. I love it too, man. I've had this for a long time, but it's one of my favorite shirts. I love the way it lays on the pecs, on the biceps. Will you ever do a PO box thing for your fans so we can send you stuff? MKF30. I said this once. I will eventually get to the PO box thing. It's just getting stuff's cool, and I don't mind opening it for a video. But sometimes, like all that stuff, I don't know what to do with it. And I'm sort of becoming a minimalist at this point in my life. Kind of, sort of, not really. I'm trying to get organized. And there's like, I had so much shit from YouTube and making YouTube videos over the years in my garage right now, piling up that I don't have anywhere to put it. So that's one fear I have. Like I almost want to put a stipulation on it for the PO box. Whatever you send me cannot come in a package bigger than like, I don't know, a 10 by 10 box. It has to be smaller than that. And then someone's going to be like, well, John, I was going to send you a replica Captain America shield that was actually from the movie and it cost $80,000, but never mind. And I'd be like, damn it. What a stupid stipulation I had. So anyway, at some point. Clerks 3 forever. I was not a big fan of the Clerks movie, man. He went for it. Kevin Smith got to make the movie he wanted to make, but man, it went too dark. It went too dark for a Clerks movie, and I don't ever want to watch it again. Like, oh, I want to be depressed. Let me watch the third Clerks movie. Excuse me. All right. Last question of the live show. Here we go from Clark Ingleton. Favorite Australian movies besides Mad Max? Recommend Wake and Fright and Showtown. Both are dark, nasty thrillers. Also 8mm Prisoners 7. Oh, Allah. Okay. So it's like 8mm Prisoners 7. What is it called? Snowtown? And the dark, nasty thrillers? Okay. I did watch the Babadook. You guys say Babadook? I say Babadook. I did watch the Babadook. Wasn't that was that a New Zealand Australian movie? Where was that made? I did watch that last year. Sorry if I'm getting really tired. John, will you be able to sleep after you chug that monster? Yes, like a baby. I could literally pour caffeine into my eyeballs and go right to bed. All right, Kevy Rez says, you haven't read my super chat. Kevy Rez, oh, it's right here. Here it is. Kevy Rez says, you heard Kraven the Hunter movie is rated R. So this is coming from Sony. Do you trust anything Sony says to you? I do not. Do I think it should be rated R? Yes. Do I think that would help the movie? Yes, it would. Look at comic book movies like Logan. It elevated the movie. It made it a better movie that it was rated R. It gave it freedom to breathe. And with something like Kraven the Hunter, you have nothing to lose. It's not going to be $1 billion movie no matter how hard you try, so you might as well make it rated R and give it a cult following. But it's Sony. They made fucking Morbius. Who knows? MKF30 says, John, who's your favorite Mortal Kombat character? And if you could have a Mortal Kombat character power, what would it be? Favorite character? Well, in the games, it would definitely be Cabal because he was the most overpowered character. But favorite character is like Sub-Zero. I always thought Sub-Zero and Scorpion were pretty badass. Would I want to be them or have their powers? I don't know. Shang Tsung's powers, transforming into other people, would be pretty cool. I think that could be useful. Maybe that. But then again, if I could shoot a harpoon out of my palm into your throat and say, get over here, that would be pretty fucking sweet too. So I'll take either of those. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. As always, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit. And I just wanted to say hi. Like I said, I am sort of recovering from a case of the COVID, and I'm feeling pretty good today, so I'll pump out some more videos this week. And I am seeing Guardians of the Galaxy 3 very soon, so I will definitely be covering that, and I'll definitely put out a first reaction on Instagram. If you guys haven't followed me on Instagram, you go do that if you want. A lot of people say, John, wait, you have Instagram or you post videos there? I'm like, yeah, I do. So follow the Flick Pick over at Instagram if you want. You don't have to, but thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night. Stay safe and sweet dreams. Was that a creepy thing to add there? I don't know. Either way, take care, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.